Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining the first ever virtual general membership meeting and induction of the Women's Business Council Philippines, Inc. I'm Leah Karingal, and I will be your MC for this morning. Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of the Lord and say a prayer together to be led by former President and Chairwoman, Ms. Sabsi Palanca. This will be followed by the Philippine National Anthem and a short AVP on the Women's Business Council Philippines.
On the occasion of today's induction, we pray, Lord, for our officers of the Women's Business Council, as well as ourselves, borrowing the words of Proverbs 31. May we open our mouths in behalf of the mute and for the rights of the destitute and the needy. May we always judge justly. May we seek out wool and flax, and we with skillful hands, like a merchant fleet, may we secure provisions from afar. May our lamps never extinguish. May we rise while it is still night and distribute food to our households, helpers, employees, as well as to those who depend on us. May we pick out fields, acquire them, and from their earnings, plant vineyards. May we gird ourselves with strength and exert our arms with vigor. After all these, may we enjoy the profits from our dealings, fine linen, our clothing. May we not worry about our households and employees when it snows, all our charges doubly clothed. Living in the fear of the Lord, living up to the WBCP slogan of entrepreneurship with dignity, may we always be clothed with strength and dignity. May we open our mouths in wisdom, so the work of our hands are acclaimed. In Jesus' name, through the intercession of a very strong woman named Mary, we pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Noon pa man, malaki na ang naging bahagi ng mga kababaihan sa lipunang Pilipino. Kaisa sila sa marubdob na paghahangad ng kalayaan ng ating lahi. Kabilang sila sa paglinang ng ating makulay na sining at mayamang kultura. Kasapi sila sa pagtataguyod ng mga adhikain ng kapwa mamamayan at sa pagtugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan. Katuwang sila sa pagtuklas sa mga larangan ng agham at medisina. Kapanalig sila sa pagpapairal ng batas, karapatan at katarungan para sa lahat. Kabahagi sila sa paglilingkod sa bayan at sa pagpapanatili ng demokrasyang Pilipino. Sa paglipas ng panahon, hindi nagmaliw ang kanilang pag-ibig sa ating inang bayan. Mga kababayan, ito ang alay ng mga kababaihang Pilipino para sa bayan. Tumayo po tayong lahat at sabay-sabay nating awitin ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Ayaw magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dilim mo'y buhay. Lupang hiniram, gulot na ng magiging, sa manlulupi, di ka masisingil, sa lahat ng tulog, sa singil at sa langit mong bahaw. Nagilangang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y talumpay na nagilingin. Ang ituwing na araw na kailan pa may madilim. Lumay ang araw ng 100 Buhay
Thank you, Sabsi, for that beautiful prayer. And now, to formally welcome us to the GMM and present the President's report, may I call on Women Biz PH immediate past President and President and founder of Team Asia, Monette Iturralde Hamlin.
Hello, Leah. Good morning.
Hi,
And
Monette. How are you?
Good morning to all of our Women Biz members and our esteemed guests who have joined us for this morning's general membership meeting and induction. I'd like to especially greet Secretary Ramon Lopez of the Department of Trade and Industry for honoring us with your presence and for leading the induction later. I'd also like to say hello to Secretary Boy de la Peña of the Department DOST for joining us today, and of course, the chairwoman of the Philippine Commission of Women, Ms. Sandy Montano. We also have special guests from different organizations who have joined us, so I'd like to thank you for coming. This is from the Sharefield or Shareholders Association Philippines, Angat Buhay Women of the Office of VP Robredo, Networking for Enterprising Women, or NEW, Infocom Technology Association of the Philippines, We Empower Asia Philippines of the UN Women, PICPA, the Philippine Women's Economic Network or PhilWen, SAPI, Towns, Arrancada Philippines, AmCham, the Australian New Zealand Chamber of Commerce, the Philippine Marketing Association, and of course, Go Negosyo. Thank you so much for joining us. Today marks the last day of my being president for the Women's Business Council, a journey that actually started at the time my membership to Women Biz, at the time that I was so lost. My late husband, my beloved husband, Michael Allen Hamlin, had just passed away, and I was lost. But some friends came to me and asked me if I would be willing to help, to join the Women's Business Council, as well as to help the country, because the country was going to host APEC in a few years. And they wanted to know, since I was an event organizer, if I could please join them and to try to understand how the process is done to make sure that the APEC event here in the Philippines would be very good. And so I joined. So I'd like to thank Boots, Chit, Jeannie, as well as Noya, Terado, who all invited me to join. So let me now go to my final report on the Women's Business Council and share the screen. While I am sharing the screen, I would like to show you that I'm wearing Women's Business Council, a Great Women here. A Great Women jacket. This Great Women jacket is really made by Filipinas indigent women, and this project was started by then the National Commission for the Role of Philippine Women, or NCR-FW, which was the forerunner of the Philippine Commission of Women, and with funding from SIDA, invited Women Biz as the private sector partner to come up with this collection of women clothing and other items that would use the materials that women have been in IPs have been using. So Women Biz and the Great Women started, and Jeannie Havelosa has taken it on for the second stage. Private sector has stepped up, and so if you would like to get hold as well of these beautiful jackets from the Great Women collection, please just go to the website of Great Women. And now let me proceed to the President's report. The Women's Business Council established in 1997 at the initiative of the Department of Trade and Industry. We were set up to be the leading voice of women in commerce, inspiring and empowering women in the Philippines. Women Biz is the lead private sector partner of the government, particularly Department of Trade and Industry and the Philippine Commission of Women, representing the Philippines in APEC and ASEAN events. Women Biz is also the international partner of the Global Summit of Women and the lead convener and chairperson of the Philippine Women's Economic Network, or PhilWen. Let me just put focus on some of our special partners, the Department of Trade and Industry, the Philippine Commission on Women, PhilWen, AWEN, and Go Negosyo. Together with them, we push for thought leadership in gender and diversity, for entrepreneurship for women, and for the larger role of women in the economy. Our vision is to be the role model for women in business in the Philippines, a change agent that will forge political and business clout, and be a credible advocate for women's issues and needs in business, inspiring and empowering Filipino women in the economy. Our mission is to promote ethical business practices, especially integrity and good governance, instill passion and love for country and for business, and to leverage our very own individual skills and strengths to influence government policies and the future of women in the economy. When I started, we were given certain objectives. This came up from our strategic planning meeting. We said that we would continue our policy advocacy, enhance women's access to finance, do entrepreneurship development education, network and do business matching, and expand our memberships. I'm happy that later we will be welcoming new members into the fold. One particular item that we felt was necessary and needed attention was awareness and promotions. And so that was one of the first things that I did for the Women's Business Council, which is to refresh the website and to make sure that it is updated regularly. And so please do go and visit www.womenbiz.ph for all the news about our association. And because the Filipinos are Facebook lovers and Facebook users, in fact, we lead the world in the use of this, we also decided to step up the womenbiz.ph Facebook page. So all the news is there. Now, we also embarked on international representation. Earlier, I mentioned that we are the representatives for APEC and AWEN events, ASEAN events. So let me just show you some of the events that we have been participating in. In September of 2018 in Papua New Guinea, our chair, Chiki Go, attended the APEC Women and the Economy Forum. She joined the public sector representatives from DTI, PCW, DICT, and DFA. In September, it was my turn to go to New Zealand, where I attended the APEC 2018 Public-Private Dialogue, where we looked at structural reform and gender, and to identify the gaps and to see things reform with the gender lens. In October 19, 2018, I joined an event in Vietnam that was two-part. The first in the morning was an ASEAN Women Entrepreneurs Network, or AWEN, meeting on the environment protection for sustainable development for enterprises and communities. Here, I actually shared the story of how the Philippines handled the problem of Boracay, and this enthused a lot of us, our ASEAN neighbors, to do the same to protect the environment. In the afternoon, I attended a US-ASEAN workshop where I joined as a panelist. We discussed practical measures for addressing needs of women in the digital economy and in the workforce. This was a US-ASEAN AID event. And then in November, in Japan, our chair, Chiki Go, attended the Asia-Pacific Women Entrepreneurs Exchange, where she met with other women entrepreneurs and shared the journey in different stages so that this could be used for benchmarking and learnings with the Japanese women entrepreneurs. In December of 2018, here in Manila, we had the ASEAN Economic Community Senior Officials Conference on Gender Mainstreaming, and many of our women biz officers and members participated in this event. Now in 2019, in June, there's an ASEAN Women's Business Conference that took place in Thailand. And Trustees, Boots Garcia, I went as well, Jeannie Havelosa, participated as speakers and moderators in the conference. And we also joined as AWEN focal points for the Philippines, representing the country in the ASEAN Women Entrepreneurs Network. In this same trip, we also recognized 10 outstanding women entrepreneurs from the Philippines, where they received the AWEN Outstanding Entrepreneur of the Year Award, no less, from the Princess of Thailand. So this was a momentous event for them and for us. In July, in Taipei, our chair, Chiki Go, our trustee, Attorney Lorna Kapunan, and PCW Commissioner Karen Dumpit served as speakers on topics on human rights and business. This was for the workshop on the strategy of human rights in APEC. Then APEC Chile happened. I started by attending the Pathways to Gender Inclusion workshop, and this was where we discussed how we could create new entrepreneurship and employment pathways for women in the digital economy. Over at Kathmandu, Nepal, our Vice President, Attorney Dick Dubaladad, attended the South Asian Women Development Forum and spoke on the topic upscaling investment for women entrepreneurs. And then our chair, Chili Go, attended the APEC Women and the Economy Forum in La Serena, Chile, together with the public sector delegation. And there, they addressed barriers for the integration of women in the economy, how to promote equal workplace opportunities through data, how to reduce the digital gender divide, how to encourage more women in STEM, and how to increase women in leadership positions. Chiki also served as a judge for the APEC Best or the Business Efficiency and Success Target Award, where Dalarek Polot, the owner of Dalarek Chocolates from Bohol, won as as the APEC Best Enterprise Awardee in the Family Support category. In Thailand in October, Awen held its CEO Summit, and our treasurer, Boots Garcia, who is also the PhilWen chairperson, together with the Great Women Philippines director, Jeannie Havelosa, represented the Philippines in the opening of the Awen CEO Summit. Part of that event was an ASEAN CEOs Roundtable where our member, Ms. Annie Tan Yi, participated as a panelist in the ASEAN CEOs Roundtable. We also sent two young women entrepreneurs, Yamir Valdeavilla and Ross Wan, to Taiwan to study under the USAID study tour training. This activity was actually to emphasize engagement in how the startup community in Taiwan is doing well and how they can bring what they learned to mentor and cultivate the next generation of women entrepreneurs back here in the Philippines. So Shamir and Ross will be having a workshop in the upcoming months here in the Philippines. Aside from these international meetings overseas, we also had roundtables here. The Ixnita Saba came over to the Philippines to discuss business collaboration opportunities. They were looking for partners in halal F&B and personal care products. Wells Fargo also hosted a women's business roundtable to discuss how they can support MSMEs in their development. The Cambodian Women Entrepreneurs Association came over, a big delegation, to discuss women issues of women entrepreneurs and to share best practices on leadership, membership services, and advocacies. By the way, at this point, I'd really like to thank the Department of Trade and Industry for giving us a home at DTI. So finally, we have an office at DTI, and we hold meetings there for when delegations come. We also attended a roundtable on promoting and ensuring women's economic empowerment through SME entrepreneurship. And this was with the AIM, Center for Corporate Responsibility, and the UN Women in partnership with We Empower Asia. So you can see we were really made to work on those things that could help women, to empower women entrepreneurs in the MSME sector. At Women Biz, we organize learning sessions, which we fondly call Women Mentoring Women Talks. The first one was a talk on depression and mental illness because of the law that just came in, and it was very well received. We also had a talk on Kick Some Glass with a speaker who spoke on how women can break that glass ceiling. And just before the lockdown, we had a very popular event this time. It was a talk on holographic wills, prenups, and the new family code, which was led by our trustee, Attorney Lorna Kapunan. And I think it's so popular that we will do it again. our biggest event for the Women Biz during my term was the Women at Work Summit. And here we focused on the digital world. If you will note, all the events that I've been talking about have been looking at how we can help women now that it's a digital economy. And this was a very different summit because this time we invited young women leaders here in the Philippines who are leading the charge in digital transformation. And as you can see, we had a lot of people attend and whose minds were opened on how important digital transformation is. And I think that meeting in August was very important because aside from gathering more than 400 people and raising the money that we need for our operations for the coming years, we were also able to open their eyes to how important digital transformation is, I guess, leading to what's happening right now with the lockdown and with the pandemic that has forced everyone onto the virtual stage. It's not all work. There's a lot of fun too. We build camaraderie. We make friends, and I'd like to thank all the friends that I made. We also have great partnerships with Go Negosyo. We attended the Women 2020 event just before the lockdown. And so to end this, I would like to thank the women, the strong women business leaders who I have been honored to work with in these past 2 years, especially our chairperson, Ms. Chiki Go, our vice president, Ms. Dick Dubaladad, our secretary, Ms. Lorna Kapunan, our treasurer, Boots Garcia, our trustee, Mylene Abiva, Leah Karingal, Evelyn Singson, and Cheat One. So maraming salamat and more power to the incoming board. Thank you.
Wow, Monette, and work you did. Thank you, Monette, for your leadership and dedication to Women's Business Council. At this point, may I introduce our guest of honor, who will lead the induction of our incoming Board of Trustees for 2020 to 2022. A multi-awarded speaker's extensive government experience with the Presidential Management Staff, DTI, and the National Economic Development Authority, coupled with over 23-year stint as a top executive of a major Philippine food and beverage company, and his staunch advocacy for free entrepreneurship education, prepared him adequately for the responsibility of heading the Department of Trade and Industry. As DTI Secretary, he also chairs the Board of Investments, or BOI, the Cagayan Economic Zone Authority, CEZA, and the Small Business Corporation, SB Corp, the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, PEZA, National Development Corporation, or NDC, Export Development Council, and the Halal Board. On top of that, he also supervises attached agencies such as the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines and the Cooperative Development Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have with us this morning the esteemed Secretary of the Department of Trade and Industry, Secretary Ramon Lopez.
Good morning, and thank you, Ms. Leah, and good morning, everyone. So we shall be having the oath of office of the officers of the Women's Business Council Philippines, Inc.
Secretary, may I introduce the incoming Board of Trustees who will serve for a 2-year term 2020 to 2022. Chairwoman Maria Montserrat Duralde Hamlin, fondly called Monette, President and Founder, Keynote. President Maria Eileen Abiva, President CEO, Feltra Multimedia Inc. President, Vice President, Attorney Benedicta Du Baladad, or Dick, Founder and CEO of Du Baladad and Associates. Corporate Secretary, Jean E. Havelosa, Lead Great Women. Treasurer, Maria Aurora Giotina Garcia, or Boots, President of Mageo Consulting, Inc. Auditor, Pasita Juan, or Chip, co-founder, Echo Store. Trustee, Attorney Lorna Pataho Kapunan, founding partner of Kapunan and Castillo Law Offices. And last, Trustee Evelyn R. Singson, Vice Chairman and President of Dusitani Philippines Inc. Secretary Lopez, this completes the incoming Board of Trustees. May we invite you to proceed with their induction.
Thank you very much, and good morning to our dear officers of the Women's Business Council Philippines. May I now request to raise your right hand to do the oath of office, and please repeat after me. I state your name.
I,
Maria Monserrat Duralde Hamden,
I,
Having been elected as
Lorna Pataho
having been elected
as Secretary, having been elected Trustee
of Women's Business Council Philippines Inc.
of Women's Business Council Philippines,
of Women's Business Council Philippines Inc.
Do solemnly swear that
do solemnly swear that
I will defend the aims,
Do
purposes,
solemnly swear
I will
that
defend the
aims, purposes, and principles
principles for which Women Biz Philippines was created.
for which
I will defend the aims for which Women Biz was created.
Abide and uphold its bylaws,
to abide and
willingly serve and faithfully perform the functions of my position
willingly serve and perform the functions of my
Willingly
office,
serve functions of my
and
position.
that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily.
and that I
I
will
impose this
upon myself
on
I
myself
impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily.
Without equivocation and mental reservation.
without
Without equivocation and mental reservation.
So help me God.
so
So
help
help
me
me
God.
God.
Congratulations po sa inyong lahat. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sec.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you, Secretary.
Can we have a photo op now?
Can we have a group of photo of the secretary? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, secretary.
Thank you. Thank you,
Salamat,
Sir.
Ramon.
We started with almost nothing. An idea, a dream, and a desire to create and establish something. With only our ambitions and resourcefulness, we began our journey to build an enterprise from the ground up. Driven by our sipag at abilidad, we persevered, determined to make it despite the challenges.
That is hard for us because we are only small. And besides, our factory is only a backyard factory then. Hindi kami nawala ng pag-asa.
As early as 2003, we thought of closing because we're not earning. We're not having any orders for export.
We weathered storms, overcame obstacles, and got right back up when we stumbled. We took inspiration from the world around us and drew on our rich culture to transform the abundant.
Ang pinagkaiba namin sardines sa the rest of the Philippines is yung sardines namin dyan lang namin nahuli sa dagat namin.
Into the unique and useful. We worked with the community.
We try to make everybody happy, from cane plantation workers to the cane cutters and then to our employees here in the factory.
And develop products that gave us pride. Along the way, we gained invaluable partners whose support and expertise gave us the push we needed
You have to build a relationship in your local Department of Trade and Industry. Kasi dun ka unang magre-rehistro. Then you have to ask kung ano yung mga programs that are applicable to you.
Sila rin yung naging tulay para i-develop yung products, ilabas sa market, i-push kami through trade fairs. Sila rin yung nag-influence nga para ituloy yung business.
Sa lahat ng taga-DTI, malaki po ang pasalamat namin sa lahat ng tulong na naibigay kasi sila ang unang-unang tumulong sa co-op.
Maraming tulong ang DTI din. Kaya noong natuklasan namin na maganda ito palang coffee proseso, ay may pag-asa namin na umasinso dahil sa kape na ito.
All of these allowed us to share with the world what we had to offer.
Kahit anumang negosyo, dapat nandun yung puso mo. You should be sincere dun sa sinasabi mo at hands-on. Nahaharap mo lahat ng customer.
To empower our countrymen.
The tip there is simply do not give up. I believe in every Filipino, we are gifted with this creativity.
And to inspire others.
Kung may business idea ka na pinaniniwalaan mong magkakaroon ng potential, huwag kang matakot mag-try. Tsaka maging positive thinker ka.
Whatever happens along the way, you always pick yourselves and go on to reach your goals.
The life of an entrepreneur may be difficult, but as long as we have the proper mindset and know-how, we won't stop reaching for our dreams.
Nais ng DTI sikap, sipag at abilidad na maihatid sa inyo ang mga kaalaman para po maging gabay sa ating lahat. DTI po, nandito po para magbigay ng oportunidad at abilidad para tayong lahat ay lumundan.
We are Filipino entrepreneurs, and these are our stories. Sikap, sipag at abilidad ng Pilipino. Hindi nagtatapos dito ang paggabay ng DTI. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pagtulong sa mga nagnanais na magnegosyo.
Wow, that's a great video. Thank you to DTI. And congratulations to you women. May we look forward to your leading women biz in continuing to inspire optimism and create opportunities for women. At this point, may we call on the Secretary again to share and deliver his keynote message. Secretary?
Salamat po, Ms. Leia. To Secretary Boy de la Peña, PCW Chairwoman Sandy Montano, WBCP Chairwoman Monette Eturalde Hamlin, WBCP President, our good friend Mylene Abiva, to our dear officers, members, and partners of the Women's Business Council of the Philippines, and to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would like to thank the Women's Business Council of the Philippines for inviting me to speak before you today. I would also like to congratulate the newly inducted officers of the Council. The Department of Trade and Industry looks forward to closely working with all of you, especially as the world faces challenging times as the COVID-19 pandemic changes the way we do business. I was also particularly enthused by the fact that DTI was a major part of your beginnings, and I'm happy to realize that being part of the beginnings of the WBCP. Personally, I am glad that the Women's Business Council is with us to face these challenges. Women in the Philippines have always been at the entrepreneurial forefront, having to constantly deal with barriers in setting up their own businesses, And fortunately, our country is blessed with many talented and determined women entrepreneurs, especially all of you in the Women's Business Council. I'd like to point out that in 2019, 64% of micro SMEs assisted by DTI's Negosyo Centers were women. With the full support of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, DTI is helping our women entrepreneurs through targeted interventions. For example, DTI is collaborating with USAID on their Connecting Women to the Digital Economy project. Here, women entrepreneurs selected by DTI can gain digital skill sets and tools. What's more, they can have access to online market platforms like Shopee, Lazada, and Facebook. This digital program is timely as our women micro SMEs adjust to the new normal of the pandemic. Likewise, DTI has its Gender and Development Initiatives, which is in service of Republic Act 9170 or the Magna Carta of Women of 2009. That provides specific interventions for women's economic empowerment by boosting their participation and benefits in livelihood and entrepreneurial activities. Under GAD, DTI has the Great Women Project 2, supported by Canadian International Development Agency or CIDA. This program promotes and supports a gender-responsive, enabling environment for women's economic empowerment. And during its run, it assisted 274 women micro-enterprises. Currently ongoing is Investing in Women Asia in partnership with the Australian government. This program focuses on impact investing activities to increase women-led businesses and come up with a stronger gender lens in investing in women-led SMEs. Phase 2 of this program is set to run from 2019 to 2023. Another project is She Trades, being developed by DTI with the International Trade Center. This project will expand women entrepreneurs' access to international markets and promote their economic empowerment. It will also increase women-owned businesses' participation in trade by improving their competitiveness and strengthening their market linkages. DTI also has the Responsible Supply Chains in Asia project with the help of the European Union, the International Labour Organization, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. And moreover, we are working with you as well as the Philippine Commission on Women and the DFA on the APEC Women and Economy Project. May mga nakahanda rin pong mga programa ang DTI para matulungan ang ating mga micro-SMEs, pati na rin ang mga kailangang kumita ng kabuhayan sa panahon ng pandemya. Nariyan po ang COVID-19 Assistance to Restart Enterprises or CARES program na may 1 billion pesos Enterprise Rehabilitation Financing Facility sa ilalim ng Pondo sa Pagbabago at Pag-asenso. Sa programang ito, maaari pong kumuha ng loans o mangutang na walang interes at walang hinihinging collateral requirement para sa mga micro and small businesses na lubhang naapektuhan ng pandemya. Another DTI program is our Livelihood Seeding Program, Negosyo sa Barangay program, with the funding of 203 million pesos for 2021. This program offers packages of livelihood kits and business advisory assistance and services to micro SMEs affected by natural and human-induced calamities, including pandemics. DTI also has a free online tech tools for micro SMEs to help them reinvent their business during the pandemic. We provide information on different technology, tools, applications, platforms, and resources available for micro SMEs to cope with the challenges of quarantine. Moreover, micro SMEs can take advantage of our Control plus B's Reboot Now program. It's a webinar, it's a series of free webinars so that they can transform their business digitally. And right now, we also have the USAID project to empower auto entrepreneurs to go and market online. In yesterday's State of the Nation address, SONA, of President Duterte, he highlighted priority initiatives for DTI to focus on to help in our country's recovery. Primarily, we will intensify efforts to help businesses affected by the pandemic, especially micro SMEs, by providing them with government assistance and services, capitalization, and business operation support. DTI, with the Department of Agriculture and TESDA, will also create entrepreneurship, special training, and agribusiness projects for our displaced OFWs to rebuild their livelihoods. Meanwhile, the CHED will provide scholarships for the children of OFWs. If OFWs need financial assistance to start their own business, we have the recently launched Helping the Economy Recover through OFW Enterprise Startups, or HEROES program, that can offer them loans. DTI will also push the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and the local banks to provide regulatory relief for micro SMEs by allowing loan payment extensions without extra fees and charges. Likewise, we will push for commercial establishments to give a longer grace period on their rents and also allow deferments of payments for micro SMEs and also lower rental fees moving forward so that these businesses can recover. Presently, we are also promoting the nationwide media campaign to buy local and go local to help severely affected micro SMEs recover from the pandemic. Buying locally and traveling locally will not only generate more revenues for these businesses, it will help prevent their collapse and re-stimulate demand, and obviously and definitely it will also help the local governments. As we help micro SMEs go digital, DTI will enforce online and consumer data protection and privacy laws to strengthen the public's trust in e-commerce. Nabanggit din po ito ni Presidente kahapon po sa SONA. We will also run after online scammers, sabi po ng ating mahal na Pangulo. Lastly, to ensure ease of doing business, DTI will continue to promote greater e-governance and ensure that physical queuing is a thing of the past. We have always said that going online and making sure that government transactions are done online is the ultimate ease of doing business. Ngunit bago ako po makatapos, nananawagan po ako sa inyong lahat na sa ating pag-adjust or pag-adapt sa new normal, tayo rin po ay magsikap at magkaisa tungo sa isang better normal. Kahanay ang mga kababaihan sa pagharap sa mga pagsubok, patuloy po tayong magtutulungan sa pagbuo ng isang mas progresibong lipunan na ayon sa pangarap din ng ating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte at ng marami sa atin na sana ang bawat pamilyang Pilipino ay may ligtas, masagana at komportableng buhay. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at mabuhay tayong lahat. And once again, congratulations po sa mga officers ng Women Business Council of the Philippines. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you, Secretary Lopez. Walang pila. I really, myself personally look forward to that. Now, may we hear from our new President, Mylene Apiva. Mylene?
Thank you very much, Secretary Mon. Women's leadership in business, economy, and in family care plays a vital role in an inclusive, resilient, and sustainable recovery of the Philippines. Therefore, it is paramount to harness women's full potential as leaders, innovators, and agents of industrial and environmental changes. I would like to thank Secretary Ramon Lopez, a mentor of mine during his days in his leadership in Go Negosyo of the Department of Trade and Industry, for providing programs and opportunities for women to participate in the reopened economic activity after forced shutdown due to COVID-19 pandemic. The Women's Business Council Philippines will continue to advocate women's needs in business with a theme inspiring optimism and creating opportunities for women. I would also like to thank our special guest this morning, my friend and supporter. Thank you, Secretary Fortunato Boy de la Peña of the Department of Science and Technology, for sharing with us your time despite your many tasks of finding solutions to the COVID pandemic through science and research. My personal appreciation for your continued support to the Philippine Robotics National Team, which I lead, and my endeavors to promote science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for women and for girls. Thank you to the Women Biz Philippines Board of Trustees and officers of 2020 to 2022 for taking on the challenge to help women-owned and women-led businesses affected by the impact of COVID crisis to recover financially in this economic distress, and for effectively supporting the socio-economic growth and sustainability in the country. To my mother, Mama Tita Abiva. In fact, she is one of the pioneer members of the Women Biz Philippines in 1997. Yes, I'm a second generation member and now the president of the Women Business Council of the Philippines. To my children, Jed, Justin, and to my Mr. Right, Ray Harina, who brings joy and inspiration for me to be the best person I can be. To all the women and men, let us be united in hope and build a better and safer and more prosperous Philippines. Women's Business Council Philippines, ethics, passion, influence. God bless us all.
Thanks, President Mylene. Thank you very much. Can we have a quick, we'll now have a short intermission with a song to be rendered by aspiring artist and YouTuber from Bulacan, Miss Ann Ross.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for inviting me, and I would like to acknowledge everyone who's here and congratulate Miss Eileen Aviva. And so this song that I will be singing is dedicated to all women out there who continuously rule the world. You can be, you may think you see who I really am, but you never know me. Every day is as if I play a part. Now I see even where I'm at. I can't fool the world, but I cannot fool my heart.
电量低，请给波巴通电。
Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? When will my reflection show who I am inside? Dying now in a world where I have to hide my heart and what I believe in, but somehow I will show the world what's inside my heart and love for who I am. Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me? Why is my reflection someone I don't know? First I pretended I'm someone Thank you.
Wow, what a voice. Thank you, Anne. Just for those who are watching, Anne joined GMA 7's The Clash Season 1, where she belonged to the top of The Clash together with 32 other finalists, where they sang the official theme song. She also sang in GMA 7's afternoon show, Prima Donnas, entitled Sigurado Na Ako. Now, at this point, may I call back Mylene Abiva to introduce our new members who will be inducted today.
Before we do that, may we have a photo op with two secretaries, Secretary Ramon Lopez and Secretary Fortunato de la Peña of the USD. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Okay, Secretary Boy. All right, okay. So, Director Wax, can you take our photo? I will take a photo of you. All right, okay. 1, 2, thank you. One more. Thank you very much, Secretary Boy. Thank you so much. So honored to have you with us. And now may we introduce our new members for the Women's Business Council Philippines. Our first member is Cherry Atelano, founding partner and CEO and President, Agricultural Systems International Incorporated. Cherry Atilano is the founding farmer, CEO, and president of Agria Agricultural Systems International Incorporated, of a for-purpose and inclusive business that is creating the first replicable one-island economy that is zero hunger, zero waste, and zero insufficiency through the ecology of dignity approach. Agria aims to help eradicate poverty for farming and fishing families in order to alleviate the effects of climate change and establish food security in the Philippines. Our first member to be inducted today is Cherry Atelano. Okay, Cherry, all right. Okay, while we're waiting for Cherry, maybe we move on to the next member to be inducted today. We have Donna May Lina, President, Ube Media Incorporated. There's Donna. Donna May Lina is President of Ube Media Incorporated, a marketing, communications, and events production company. She is also executive producer of the Weather and Disaster Risk Reduction TV program, Panahon TV, which airs monthly every Mondays to Fridays. She chairs the longest-running UCI road race in the Philippines, Le Tour de Filipinas. So we have Donna May Lina. Our next member is Dana Maharocon. Dana Maharocon, Managing Director of Lala Move Philippines. Dana is the Managing Director of Lala Move Philippines, the on-demand delivery app known for its iconic orange hummingbird and fast delivery. Before she was appointed as Managing Director, she served as Operations Director during Lala Move's early days, focusing on day-to-day driver operations, which is the core of the company. We have Dana Maharocon. Our next member, I'm sure Secretary Mon is familiar with her. She used to be with DTI. We have Noya Terrado, Country Head, Legato Health Technologies Philippines Incorporated. Nora or Noya is the country head of Legato Health Technologies Incorporated. As its pioneer, she oversaw the establishment of the company and stewards its ongoing business expansion in the Philippines. She leads Legato's 2,000-strong growing workforce and aims to make the Philippines a global hub for healthcare service excellence through the capabilities and expertise she's now building at Legato. Ladies and gentlemen, Noya Terrado. She will be joining us. Let's go back to our other member. Let's call back Ms. Cherry Atelano, founding partner, CEO, and President, Agricultural Systems International. Cherry, welcome. Okay, our next member to be inducted is Mildred Van Boos Bitangkol, Dr. Mildred Van Boos Bitangkol, Chairman of the Board, St. Peter Life Plan Incorporated. Mildred Bitangkol is the Chairman of St. Peter Life Plan. Mildred Bitangkol had a vision influenced by her midwife mother. She was fascinated seeing how doctors and nurses took care of people. Eventually, she became a physician and a successful businesswoman. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Mildred Van Boos Bitangkol. Right. Okay, I believe we have all the members. Secretary Mon, may I introduce? And we have Grace Zata, President of CPSI. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Grace Zata, our new member. Thank you, Grace. So, Secretary Ramon Lopez, may I present to you our new members of the Women's Business Council Philippines.
Thank you.
Chairwoman Monette Hamlin, Leah, please.
Yeah, may we call back Chairwoman Monette Hamlin to induct our new members? Monette?
For joining us. Can you kindly raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, please state your name.
I,
Having been duly admitted as a member of the Women's Business Council Philippines, Inc.,
having been duly admitted to the Women's Business Council Philippines, Inc.
I solemnly promise and pledge.
I solemnly promise and pledge
that I will wholeheartedly support and defend the aims, purposes, and principles.
That I would wholeheartedly pledge support and defend the aims, principles
for which Women Biz PH was created.
For women
created.
That I will abide by and uphold its bylaws.
That I will abide by
and uphold its bylaws.
And that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily.
That I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily.
Without equivocation or mental reservation.
Without apprehension and mental reservation.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and welcome to the
Thank you.
Virtual
Thank you, Minette. And congratulations to our new Women Biz members. Welcome, ladies. We are counting on your active support to the association. I'm not sure if Secretary De La Peña is still around. If he is, if he could kindly also join us for the photo op together with Secretary Lopez. If not, can we have a quick photo op with the new members and Monette and Mylene, please? You can remove me. Wax, it's okay. You can get.
Wait. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Call back Mylene, please. Mylene?
All right, and thank you so much and welcome to our new members. Now it's time for us to announce what is in store for you at the Women's Business Council Philippines. So may I show our activities in the next coming 2 years. The Women's Business Council of the Philippines will conduct its annual general membership meeting just like today. And in addition, we will conduct our Let's Talk Business which is the general monthly meetings, and also specified subject areas and subject topics. So it's called Let's Talk Business. The last one we had was April 21, 2020. And other than that, we also have participated with the Go Negocios How to Ensure a COVID-Free Workplace live webinar, where I was part of them with the Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, Joey Concepcion. We have Jingay and we have Jopin Romero. We're heads of the ARC project. So we also had a one-on-one activity or a webinar with the ARC project team, where they explained to us the relevance and the importance of keeping our workplace and workforce safe from the COVID pandemic. It's live. And just a few weeks ago, we also had a webinar on access to finance in partnership with the Development Bank of the Philippines. And we're pleased to announce that a lot of the women who have viewed our live webinar have applied for sourcing of funds for recovery and survival with the Development Bank of the Philippines. And in the near future, on August 13, we will have a members-only learning session with our Six Sigma Black Belter for operational excellence and how to maximize profits, Mr. Ariel Dries. We will also be conducting live webinars. The Women to Women Connect will be our summit, which is called the Working Themes, a Women's Guide to Creating an Ecosystem for Business and Personal Resilience During Challenging Times. So with this, ladies, we continue our theme, inspiring optimism and creating opportunities for women. Please join us, and we will have a wonderful year and a legacy of this 2020 to 2022.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Secretary Ramon Lopez. And
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. God bless.
God bless.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you.
Safe.
Thank you.
And ladies, welcome. Welcome to Women's Business Council. Yay! We have new members already. Yeah. I know. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you.
All right. We will soon meet.